Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Avery Towns, who will be driving for Exclusive Autosport in USF 2000. How's it going, Avery?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
All right. So to get this opportunity with Exclusive Autosport and USF 2000, just kind of talk about that for a second.
It's a really big opportunity. I'm super thankful to Exclusive for giving me a shot. They've been working with me a lot these past couple test days to get me. My biggest struggle right now is braking, and they're really helping me figure out what to do and how to fix it. And they've been super great to helping me the whole season. Very grateful for all they've done.
All right. Well, since you're coming on here for like the first time, what I always like to ask is how you got your start in racing.
Yeah, I had a car wreck in high school. Always been a big kart guy fan. I ran a car show called Cars and Turbo for a while. I worked for a company called Park Up Front where we host cars and coffee type events. And then, just through that, I met people who did SCCA racing. The Snyder twins from South Lake, both Formula Enterprise 2 national champions. And they taught me how to drive stick shift in like a race car Miata, first time I've ever even been in a stick shift car. And from there, they introduced me to Moses Smith with Formula Mazda. Did a test session in one, ended up racing that for 2 years. I still have one, still race it. It's, good track time. And from there, we've just tried to figure out what's the next step, and I think this is it.
Yeah. So what kind of drew you to these kinds of cars?
At first, they looked cool. Everybody likes to watch Formula One. I've watched the Netflix series, all that. So racing, mini F1 cars was really appealing. And then I'd driven a sports car around the track too, and just in comparison, I prefer the way an open wheel car can handle the corners. They can roll a lot more speed, they have aero, they're lightweight, and they're just really fun to drive.
Yeah. To get this opportunity with Exclusive, what does that mean to you?
Exclusive is one of the top teams in the series. So for them to be willing to take me on as a newcomer with not a whole lot of experience, I really appreciate it. They've been working with me a lot, like I said. So very, very thankful to Exclusive for that.
For sure. You're going to go to a lot of tracks that you haven't been to. I know you've tested at a few of them, but how exciting is it to start off the season at St. Pete?
St. Pete's going to be awesome. I've never driven a street circuit. The only thing I can compare it to is Sebring. So I've heard street circuits are pretty bumpy, similar to Sebring, but you'll never know till you drive it. It's going to be interesting with the barriers on both sides. Not a whole lot of room for error there, but I think ease my way into it. Don't over push the car too much, and figure it out from there.
Speaking of Sebring, you're also going to be going there too.
I will be there. I just got back and going there again in a couple of weeks for the second official preseason test. It's a fun track, very difficult though.
Talk about how those tests are kind of going so far.
So I did Road America, Indianapolis, Circuit of the Americas, and Sebring. Road America was the first time I ever drove USF car, and that was with Turn 3 actually, at Turn 3 Motorsports. And Indianapolis, I was with Exclusive and struggled a lot with locking the rears and downshifting. So my times were not anything to be super proud of. But I'm working on figuring that out. Sebring, I think, went really well. I was pretty close to the pace. I think about a second and a half off, faster than the fastest guy on our team through like the first couple corners. It's just on the straightaways I was losing time. Then Circuit of the Americas, I was racing against Lindsay Brewer, actually the USF Pro driver. She was in a USF 2000 car because her car, I don't know, something's going on with it. But learning a lot from her. She knows what she's doing to be racing in USF Pro, and it was fun battling with her a little bit in the test at Coda a couple days ago.
All right. And last thing for me is, what do you want to see out of yourself? What are your goals for, the first few races of the year?
Well, you can't win a race unless you finish. So first step is finishing the race, bringing the car home one piece, and then looking at back to see what I can work on. I think it's going to be a lot to mentally not over push past my boundaries or the car's boundaries in the first couple of races because you have adrenaline and everything's going on. It's like time to go. But the car has limits and you have to stay within them. So as long as I'm finishing and getting better every time, that's about all I can ask for.
Well, Avery, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this season.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.